welcome back. Hope everyone had enough time to complete those exercises on the indexes, the middleware, and the virtuals. So like always, I'm just going to go ahead and walk through the solutions. So going to start with, let's start with a project. So for the project, we had a couple things. We had to, let's see here. We needed to add a virtual or add a compound index to the project schema so that the project names are unique per org. So I'm gonna pull up the test and then we'll do that. So project here, and then project.spec. Cool. And all right, so it says right here, project names are unique per org. So it's expecting an error to happen if I insert a project with the same name that has the same org. So we'll just go ahead and write an index for that. So what we'll do is we'll say project schema.index. And then the first one we want to index on is the org. And then underneath that, we want it to shadow the name. So that means we're going to make a compound index with the org and a combination of name. And we want that to be a unique index. So the thing about indexes, there's different types of indexes, right? I didn't talk about the different types. We said compound indexes, but this compound index is a unique index. There's also text indexes and sparse indexes and different types of indexes, but we've just been talking about unique. For most of the time, it's just going to be regular indexes with like maybe unique or something like that. Text, maybe, but you should probably use something else. So we got that. Now I'm just going to run the test. And I'll do watch. I think watch might break here with the indexes. We'll see. Okay, so we got one passing. And yep, project names are unique per org. So that one's good. The next one we had to do was budget left. So a virtual should calculate the budget left. So to do that, what we'll do is we'll say project schema.virtual, and I'm going to say budgets left, and I'm going to define a getter, and for that I'm just going to say return this dot budget minus this dot spent. So it'll tell me how much is left from the budget and how much we spent so far. So I'm going to add that virtual, and it looks like 2 passed, so we'll verify that. And budget left, virtual should calculate budget left. That passed, all that's good. So the last test that we have here is org model, removes projects when org is removed. So I saw a couple of issues with this, and I haven't quite figured out what exactly the issue is because it seems like some silent issues, but I think it's an issue where if you have an older version of Mongo, as in less than 4.0, but using the latest version of Mongoose, as in anything above 5.0, these middleware might not work for you, and they don't actually fail, they just don't work. So I think that's a combination of that. I haven't verified it, but if you're in that boat, whereas you have Mongo before coming in today, and it's an older version, but you installed the NPM packages, which are the latest Mongoose, there might be some inconsistencies there, and they might not be working. I think that's the issue. So if you're just like, my hooks aren't even running, my middleware aren't even running, that might be you. But to get going with this exercise, I'm going to look into the org spec. There we go. And so removes project when org is removed, should be removed. So I'm going to head over to org.js. And I'm going to go ahead and add a hook for that. So I'll say org schema.post remove. And it's going to take a function where take a document and then next. And what I want to do here is I'm going to use the project model to remove all the projects. And I want this to be async because I like async. So what I'll do is I'll just await the project dot, and there's so many different operations you can do here. You can do delete mini, you can do find and delete, you can just do .remove, which might be deprecated but still works. There's so many ways to delete a lot of things out of the database. I'm just going to do a find and actually, I'm going to do a delete mini. Let's do delete mini. So we'll say a delete mini. And then the conditions are pretty much any project that has the ID of the org that was removed. So we know a project, if we go look at it, has an org property whose value is an org ID. And we know this document has an ID on it. So if I say org and then document dot underscore ID, I should be able to delete all of those. So I'm going to save that. And I'm going to go back to my test. And that passes. So again, if an org was removed, then delete all the projects that are associated with that org as well. In production, you probably do like a soft delete, just in case your customers come back. Give them their data back. Any questions on this, other than the issue that I brought up earlier? Anybody do anything differently than this? And if you did, I would love to know about it. That's because there's a lot of different ways you can do this. Yeah, what's up?
Instead of doc, I just did this. I'm not sure if it worked. I'm not sure if that's better or worse.
Yeah. If this works, yeah, that totally works.
I didn't use the async or await. Maybe that's bad.
No, it's not bad. The reason I did this is I forced this function to just wait, right? Technically, I should come here and do next right underneath it. But the reason next is not that important here is because I don't have any middleware after it. If I did, then I would absolutely have to put next. But the reason I put await is so that there's no like race condition in my test, right? Because if I don't await this, then while I'm awaiting this org to be removed, this might be happening in the background. And then when my assertion happens, this still might be happening. So you'll have a race condition where it may pass sometimes and it may fail sometimes because there's a race condition. So you just want to keep everything synchronous, so I just awaited it. That was it. But I also think in these posts, depending on what version of Mongoose you're using, like Mongoose 5, you can't actually just return a promise here. So if you just put a return statement in front of it, it probably would have worked as well, too, as far as waiting.